All right, so the next big issue to move on to is what's happening over here with these eyebrows and the forehead. So when I was picking my forehead fitters, you saw how high I went, and that obviously did a lot of damage because it went all the way up here. Let me go shading, wireframe unshaded. So I have all these points up there looking horrible. Yeah, and this definitely needs to be dealt with. So a lot of the influence here has to be taken out. So what I'm going to do, this one is one of the ones that's on this cage skin cluster. So I guess we're jumping into that. We're jumping into the issues that are on that one. Yeah. So this is one of them. And actually, before we proceed with this, I want to make sure I mirror the changes that I made on these eyelashes. So I'm going to make sure I mirror and go apply. And do the same thing here, apply. Making sure the right skin cluster is selected. And just to be on the safe side, I need to make sure I check. So I'll just review the right side. Make sure I see the same behavior. Yeah, it's there. So looks like it all transferred. Yeah, this came through too. All right, so to this. It's a big issue right there. So with this one, I could jump to this root skin cluster and allow it to start taking influence, because that's really what it should be going to. So I should be smoothing here. Or I could also go to where I was and smooth from there, but I'm going to try starting over here and doing some smoothing. Get my brush and just smooth away. Let me isolate this mesh. It's the easiest way to target all of them in one sitting as best as I can before I start the subtraction process. It would even be a good idea to do some of the adding from here. So let me go over there, go to add, yeah, and just start making it take the influence it's supposed to have. This is a smarter approach anyway, because when I subtract it from the eyebrow, it's going to pick from a handful of places to go. I really want it all to go to this root skin cluster. It's supposed to grab everything that we don't want the eyebrow controls to impact. So I might as well make it take charge now. So very gingerly make it take charge. Yeah, I'm starting to lose that weird lump. I'm going to keep going until I get a reasonable result. Let me do some smoothing. And actually, let me bring the controls back. Go to build pose. And try this again with all these controls so we can see the impact that all the brow controls are having. So if I go like that, yeah, that's better to see. Yeah, it's starting to look slightly better. All right, so let me isolate. Go back to painting. Make sure I go to the root and do some smoothing. want to check all over and make sure nobody else other than the brow controls and this root control have influence up there. All right, so now that I've done a good deal of smoothing on the root joint, I'm now going to start this subtraction process very judiciously. So I'm going to go into the negatives and subtract, because I do think that I'm way too up there. Even with this, I might be just a little bit too high. How much influence it has up there. I have to make sure that as it reassigns, it's not going to places I don't want it to go to. Go to build pose and see what I have yielded. It's a smoother transition, but still need to do a great deal of work. I'm going to try to do one at a time, because it looks like when I pull all of them up, it gets really confusing. I definitely need to resolve this one too, this center one, as best as I can. Yeah. It's going too far up there. So doing all this subtraction, large scale subtraction. And just smooth it out. And as always, share the smoothing between the two main influencing joints. Another thing I do want to make sure I'm being careful about is how I am manipulating these controls. You see, when you usually have a professional rig like this, they try to make sure that you don't make moves like this, because a move like this isn't really what you should be doing. The skin should be sliding along the skull. So you'd be going up like this and moving back, right? So if I was to want to move, I'd actually be doing this, like sliding up like this, as opposed to just moving up. So painting to accommodate this is also dangerous, and I have to be careful about that. But I suppose I'm just doing it because I want to get like a fairly good distribution as far as the topology is concerned. Even if I go like this, I just want a fairly nice transition like we have here. But it is very important to not paint this, right, to fix this and expect to lose this lump, because the movement that's been done here is wrong, right? We're looking for more sliding across the skin when we're moving up. Advanced Skeleton has very free-form controls for the face, which can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing as an animator. But I suppose freeform is good too. You have full control over what you get. And another thing to take note of is this character has an unrealistic forehead. A real human forehead goes straight up. So that's what advanced skeleton is expecting, that the movement on your skin, on your forehead, will be going up and down and not sliding across the surface. So be mindful of that. Even if you see me do this, I'm not painting for perfection to expect what would happen if you raise your brow, but just looking for a nice, better transition. But I still expect to see a lump because this is not a realistic brow raise.